Welcome back. In our last episode, we explored Bashar's teachings about excitement as your frequency compass, the signal from your higher self guiding you toward alignment and manifestation. Today, we're taking that foundation deeper with Neville Goddard. If Bashar tells us excitement is the compass, Neville shows us the engine, the infinite creative power of your imagination. Neville's core teaching is simple, but life-changing. Imagination creates reality, and the way you use imagination determines what you manifest in the physical world. In this episode, we'll explore what Neville means by living in the end, why imagination is the true creative force, a step-by-step guide to practicing Neville's methods, how to merge Bashar's excitement frequency with Neville's imagination, practical daily routines you can start right now. By the end, you'll not only understand Neville's work, you'll have a method to embody it and align it with your highest excitement. Neville's core principle. Neville Goddard taught that the world is your consciousness externalized. In other words, what you assume to be true in your imagination eventually shows up in your reality. Outer circumstances are the shadow. Imagination is the substance. He often said, assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled and persist in that assumption until it hardens into fact. This is what he called living in the end. Instead of wishing, hoping, or waiting, Neville says, go directly to the end state in imagination. See yourself already there, feel the joy of it already done, and persist in that state. Your subconscious accepts that assumption, and the universe reorganizes to match it. Imagination as creative power. Neville's bold claim is that imagination is not just fantasy, it's the creative power of God, expressed through you. He draws on scripture, interpreting passages like, God calleth those things which be not as though they were. As a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. To Neville, this means your imagination is divine. When you imagine vividly and consistently, you are literally shaping reality at its root. This can feel radical, but if we combine it with Bashar's teachings, it makes perfect sense. Bashar says, excitement is your compass. Neville says, imagination is your creative force. Together, excitement shows the way. Imagination makes it real. What does living in the end mean? Let's break it down practically. Living in the end means embodying the state of being the person who already has the reality you desire. For example, don't imagine I want to be abundant. Imagine I am abundant. I already live this reality. I feel it now. It's a shift from longing to owning. The feeling is the key. Neville insisted that imagining without feeling won't manifest. The subconscious responds to emotion, not empty words. So ask yourself, if this desire were already fulfilled, how would I feel right now? Then live in that feeling. Step-by-step Neville practice. Here's a practical way to live in the end, using Neville's methods. Step 1, define your desire. Get clear on what you want, but phrase it as already true. Example, I am in a loving relationship. Step 2, create a simple scene. Choose a short, vivid mental scene that implies your desire is already fulfilled. Shaking someone's hand in congratulations. Seeing your name on a business card. Hearing a loved one say, I'm so happy for you. The scene should be simple and repeatable. Step 3, enter a relaxed state. Neville called this the state akin to sleep. It's that drowsy, relaxed state just before falling asleep or just waking up. The subconscious is most impressionable here. Step 4, imagine and feel. Loop the scene in your imagination. Feel it as real. Engage the senses. What do you see, hear, feel, even smell? Step 5, persist. Repeat nightly or whenever you can. Persistence is the bridge between imagination and physical reality. Examples of living in the end. Neville gave countless examples of students manifesting through imagination. A woman imagined receiving a wedding ring, and within months, she was engaged. A man imagined holding a paycheck with a specific amount, and soon he landed a job paying exactly that. Another woman imagined walking up the steps of her dream home, and eventually she lived in it. The power wasn't in forcing reality, but in feeling the wish fulfilled and persisting. Common blocks, and how to overcome them. Like Bashar's teachings, Neville's methods have common stumbling blocks. Doubt. You may think, I'm just making this up. Neville reminds us, imagination is reality. The outer world is the dream. Lack of feeling. You go through the motions without emotion. Focus less on perfect images, more on the feeling tone. Inconsistency. You practice once, then stop. Persistence matters. Daily repetition imprints the subconscious. Contradictory assumptions. You imagine abundance, but spend the day affirming lack. Align your daily thoughts and words with the end you imagine. Bridging Neville with Bashar. Here's where it all connects. Bashar's formula. Act on your highest excitement, with no expectation. Neville's formula. Live in the end, assume the wish fulfilled, persist. How they merge. Your excitement tells you what's aligned. Your imagination lets you step into that alignment as if it's already real. For example, if your excitement is starting a creative business, you follow that nudge, Bashar. But instead of doubting, you go into imagination and feel yourself already thriving in that business, Neville. Together, they form a complete cycle. Excitement equals compass, and imagination equals creation. Daily Neville routine. Here's a simple daily structure you can use. Morning. Spend 5 minutes feeling the wish fulfilled. Ask, if this were already true, what excites me most to do today? During the day, whenever doubt arises, remind yourself, this is already done in imagination. Align small choices with the feeling of fulfillment. Evening, before bed, enter the state akin to sleep. Imagine your chosen scene. Feel it vividly. Loop it until you drift into sleep, expanding into flow. When you combine Neville's practice with Bashar's excitement frequency, your life begins to shift in 3 ways. Inner confidence. You no longer chase, you embody. Outer synchronicities, opportunities, and people align effortlessly. Creative flow. You stop pushing. Life feels like it's carrying you forward. This is the state both Neville and Bashar point to, flowing with reality instead of struggling against it. The bigger picture. Neville often said, dare to assume, and you will see the world respond. Bashar often says, follow your highest excitement, with no expectation of the outcome. Put these together, and you have a complete formula for manifestation. Excitement tells you the right direction. Imagination locks in the reality. Persistence bridges the inner and outer worlds. Conclusion. So here's your invitation. Identify what excites you most. Step into the end state in imagination. Live from that fulfillment now. Do this consistently, and you'll discover what Neville meant when he said, the world is yourself pushed out. And in our next episode, we'll take this journey even further, exploring how Dr. Joe Dispenza builds on both Neville and Bashar, teaching how to rewire your brain and body to sustain these higher states of being. So stay tuned, because that's where science meets spirituality and where manifestation becomes not just belief, but biology.